Welcome back, YouTubers, law students, potential law students, curious people. So I am back with one of my videos, and this is not going to fit into a particular category. So this is just miscellaneous stuff that I either forgot to say or didn't really fit into a specific category, or also people have asked me about. So I'm just going to go right in and get started. One of the first questions is I've gotten, why law school? Since I was in, I think you've heard me say that I've always wanted to go to law school, and you've always also heard me say that I am full-time employee where I go to law school. The school that I go to law school is also where I work. I have wanted to be a lawyer since about the 3rd grade. I didn't really know what that entailed, but I wanted to be one because I felt like they had so much influence over people's lives, at least in the aspect that I wanted to be. I wanted to be somebody's voice because I was always running my mouth and, standing up for people, but stepping into other people's battles where sometimes I didn't really have any business. But so why law school? If you hear your entire life, well, I did, law school is hard, law school is this, be the worst 3 years of your life, but you'll get it done, that kind of stuff. You have to really want it to continue and to go, and the loans alone will make you want to leave. But again, because I work at the place that I go to school, they pay for my tuition. So another key point, look for tuition remission benefits from employers if you're thinking about going part-time, and if your school has a part-time program, because not every school has a part-time program. So that helps me. So really, people's negative comments about, oh my gosh, there aren't any jobs out there or whatever, that didn't faze me. That was fine. Okay, that's your experience, but I just have a sense that I'm going to be okay, and I also strongly believe in God, so I'm sure whatever I'm meant to do, I will do. So that didn't really bother me at all, and then not having to pay for loans behind it really pushed, why not get it? Because even if I've talked to some people who finished law school but then chose to not even sit for the bar, they just have the JD. Even if you go into a business or you go into some kind of finance or something else, just the fact that you have a JD behind your name sometimes says a lot, and people listen to you and it stands for something. And I've heard this from people who don't actually practice law. Not everybody that goes to law school are lawyers. Some people are professors. Some people are administrators at law schools. Some people work with law, like a little bit of legal, but like a legal team, but don't really see the courtroom and documents and see clients. It's not the typical thought that everybody has about lawyers. Everybody doesn't go into that, and that's perfectly fine. On top of it all, if you go to law school and you work your butt off and you chose to do this, I don't care if it's your mom. Okay, fine. I didn't become a lawyer. I became this other thing. I didn't ask you to do any of my work. You didn't have to go to law school for me. I went to law school for myself, and I chose this. So I have that JD behind my name, and I chose what I wanted to do. I don't like when people get discouraged from something they want to do just because people are out there. I'm not saying don't be realistic. Please be realistic. But if it's something you want to do, I am in class with lots of people who are a lot older than me who wish they would have just went before, and they eventually led them back to that. And some of them are paralegals, some of them work in law offices doing something else. It just it just depends on your situation, but it really bothers me when people try to discourage people from their own dreams as if you took their time away by going to law school. So my main reason for going to law school was because I live in a small community, a small town. Well, I'm from a small town, and I grew up seeing people like my aunt, who has 2 mentally disabled children, get pushed out of housing for some random made-up crap. And not that I wanted to go to court for her, because not everything ends in court. Most cases end in settlements. But I just wanted somebody to be there for her to say, maybe she doesn't know everything. Maybe she can easily be manipulated. Maybe she is uneducated, but somebody with a degree is going to stand up here and fight for her, because what you're doing is wrong. And I grew up my entire life seeing those people around me that needed legal services but either couldn't afford it, or didn't have the political stamina, or didn't have the name to get somebody big, or different things. They just didn't have it afforded to them, or they just didn't know where to go, or didn't realize that I'm being wronged. So that was my motivation to go. That's been my motivation to keep going, and hopefully that'll be my motivation every day to get up and go to work, because I kind of get tired of seeing that from just people now. Even now, I get people that call me and they're like, "Are you a lawyer?" And I'm like, "No, I'm in law school, and it's a federal crime for me to help you." So, no. But that's my reason to go to law school. That's my biggest reason, my hugest motivation to continue. So, whatever works for you, but that's what works for me. So, prepping for law school, I will say, I've mentioned this before. This is another topic about what should I do to go to law school? What should my major be? I was going to do pre-law until I learned that that's not even a major. That's a program. You still have to decide on a major. I ain't doing all that extra. So I decided to do criminal justice in Spanish. I love Spanish. I speak Spanish. I would say, some people say fluently, but I don't like to give myself that much credit. I can have a conversation in Spanish, but it's not, obviously, it's not my first language, so I'm at about a 5th or 6th grade level, like small sentences. But I'm not that bad at it. Anyway, criminal justice, I don't even want to work in criminal law. I don't know why I got that. Anyway, I've heard of the poli-sci degrees, the English degrees, people doing pre-law and feeling like they have to do it and it'll prepare them. Let me tell you, as you just heard me say, I don't have any of those degrees. I have 2 bachelors there in criminal justice and Spanish. I am in class with a paralegal, and I have said this in my previous videos, like maybe my first or second one. I'm in class with paralegals. I don't have those type of degrees. I don't have an English background, but if you feel like that's what you want to do, go for it. But if that's not what you want to do in college, don't do that just because you know that you want to go to law school. Yes, it helps when you have a higher GPA in chemistry and a low LSAT versus someone else who has a higher GPA in dance and a low LSAT. But at the end of the day, it's a formula. GPA, LSAT, rigor of your program, different things like that. But poli-sci, I think people don't get into those programs because, now some people do like that stuff, but some people get into those programs because they think it'll look better. And some people think that they get into those programs because they think it'll help them when you get to law school. Nothing prepares you for law school until you get into law school. I have paralegals, again, who are my classmates, and they struggled the same way that I struggled. They have the same issues that I struggled. They are learning the same lessons that I am learning and working just as hard, probably harder than I am working. So I'm just saying that to say it is not the end-all, be-all with the poli-sci and let me get my paralegal degree first. Like, don't do the whole paralegal certification because whoop-de-doo, you already had an LRW class. That doesn't transfer to law school. You got to take it again. So, and for some people, that's a 2-year program. For some, that's a 1 year. Either way, you wasted a year. You could have been in law school. So, I'm not discouraging. No shade to anybody who does it. I'm just saying, if that's not what you want to do, don't feel obligated to do it and like that's going to help you succeed in law school, because that's not necessarily going to help you succeed. Moving on to my next topic, please use your resource room. Law students who are in law school right now, law students who are going to law schools, use your resource room. This is my 3rd year, and I just found out last year that we had a resource room. It has flashcards for like your first year courses, like contracts, criminal law, criminal procedure, civil procedure, like flashcards that I could have used to study. I mean, really good ones, and lots of other books, practice exams, like some of those books that you want to read to kind of get a nutshell, the nutshell versions, so like the entire overview of the class in a nutshell or whatever. They have those books, and they're all free. You just basically rent them out like a library. They're not, this is different from your library. This is a resource room with specifically things like people, like the person that's helping you with your writing your papers and reviewing those. He or she's probably located in that office. Utilize that room. You are not smart because you feel like you're going to be embarrassed if people see you get help. No. First of all, I need you to be your own person. And stand behind that. And when you stand behind something, and you know, nobody can convict you. So it's a lot of peer pressure, and I hear from a lot of people it's a little like law school, it's a little like high school, but utilize your resources and don't be afraid to get help. A lot of people say that, and a lot of people don't know where to go, but find out what your resource room is and what it has to offer. Even if you don't use it, just look in there so that you know at all times what it has to offer, because it's offered me some things as a 2L and a 3L. So that's my little tidbit on that. Your goals versus my goals. I'm a realistic person, so I'm realistic. I don't want to do corporate law. No, I don't make A's, but I do make B's, and B's work. I'm not chasing money. I think life is short, and so I'm not going to spend all my hours reading 100 pages and then read till 2 in the morning and wake up at 4 to finish reading and then have to go to work. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. And I'm doing just fine in law school. But also, for some of you that are vying for those corporate positions, you might have to make A's. You might have to be at the top of your goal. I'm going into nonprofit, like civil work, things like that. I do want to work for a nonprofit agency. So my goals are different from yours, and so this is just what I believe. And so not necessarily meaning I have to do less, but I'm not vying for those that you need to be in 3% of your class so that you can get the high paying job type thing. I'm not in that category, so my situation is different. So that's why I'm a little less crazy about, like, make sure you do this for studying, and you know, that's why you hear me kind of talk a little casually about how I do in law school. And I always explain that I make B's, or I always tell that I made a B on this or a B on that. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there to keep you in mind of where I am and the reason why I talk the way I talk and say certain things that I say, because I have different goals than you maybe. So I don't know. There's a shortage where I am, so maybe they're taking us a little more of us than they are in the corporate firms. I don't know. I just feel like I don't need to make straight A's, and life is too short for all that. Because, quite frankly, if I die tomorrow, I'm going to be mad that I even wasted my time in law school. I love it. It's not that bad, you know, and I want to be a lawyer, but I'm just saying I could be out there enjoying the sunshine after work instead of going to classes. Anyway, the first day of my 3rd year is tomorrow, so I am going to prepare. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. That was just my miscellaneous information that I wanted to tell you, and things that I've been asked, things that I thought about that I needed to let you know. Thank you for watching as always, and I will be back with another video more in depth about that 2nd year that I still haven't talked about. Thanks. Bye.